Hello, welcome to Candy Shoppe Yarns, where everything is sugar-free and high in fiber. I am Deborah, the owner of Candy Shoppe Yarns, and this is the ultimate destination for knitting and crochet enthusiasts. It is episode 25. It is January 18th, 2024, and it feels strange to say that still. It has been a few weeks. We've had a lot going on here with construction, but also we've had a lot of snow, which is nice. We really need it. Normally we will have snow November, December. We've had almost none. And then the snow has come. It has hit us and it is definitely winter and cold. My husband was out shoveling snow and he injured his back and has been unable to do really anything. I've been putting on his shoes and taking out the garbage and doing all the things that he would be doing and helping him with everything he needs. So our construction is at a standstill right now, which is frustrating, but you only get one back, so you've got to take care of it. I know that because I have scoliosis. I've also injured my back before, and it's so easy once you injure at one time to re-injure yourself. And so just have to take it easy. But I've been really struggling with the January blues, and getting the snowfall didn't help. But actually it did, because it forced me, after my husband injured his back, to get out to remove the snow and get out in the fresh air, get some physical exercise, release some endorphins. And today the sun is out and I feel like life might be okay. My daughter Nadia is currently in Hawaii, so she's missing all of the fun snow, which she actually really loves the snow, but she's not sad at all to be missing it. She is with her best friend and her best friend's family, and they're there for 11 days. While there, unfortunately, she and the family that she is with were witness to a really tragic accident, and so that definitely dampens the spirit of the holidays. But talking with her, she sounds like she's doing fine, and I will be seeing her tomorrow evening late, so she will be coming home, and that will be good. I'm going to go tonight to see the movie Wonka with my other two daughters, with Claire and Ella, and I'm looking forward to that. I saw that a couple weeks ago with Jason, my husband, and Nadia, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to going again. Is there anything else? There's always a lot of things going on, but let's get started into what you're here for, which are the knitting and crochet projects. I don't have any crochet today. I haven't had any for a little while. I have some planned though, right over here. Can I get it? I have a stack of boxes. It's my birthday next week, by the way, and this week I celebrated also my 25th wedding anniversary. So these boxes here are not my birthday presents, though I might look at them that way. These are my Make 9 projects. So I'll share a little bit about that as we go along. So let's get started with my first finished object. So I think last time I shared my beautiful basket of minis. Oh, I love these. Isn't that beautiful? Love it. I had pulled out a handful of these, and after winding up all of my scraps, reorganizing them, and it just inspired me to want to make something with it. So I grabbed a handful of little balls of yarn and cast on a pair of socks. So this is my first Make 9 and I've finished already. And here they are. There's unblocked, well, off the blocker. I actually did block it, but off the blocker and on the blocker. I think they're very, very fun and cheerful. They were really fun to make. I made 2 concurrently, not 2 at a time on the same needle, but I knit one cuff and then I knit the other cuff, and then I knit one color on this sock and the other on this sock. And I did it that way because I wanted to make sure that I had enough yarn and that I didn't get lost on how many rounds each yarn was. I wanted them to match. And what I did with some of them that were really small is I actually, if they were really small, like, which one? Where is it on here? Down, you can't even see. This little tiny, tiny pink one right there. And then this pink here, I unwound the whole thing and I knit from one end. I knit 1 round on one sock and 1 round on the other sock, and then 1 round on this sock and 1 until I got to the middle, and then I knew that I had used it all up. It was so great to use up all of it. I didn't use up all of the scraps that I had pulled, but some of them I did. And that's how I kind of managed the yarn if I was unsure if I was going to have enough to do another round. But what I did with the rest is I weighed the yarn before I started, and I would knit until I had used up half of it, unless I didn't want to use that much. And then I knew that I'd have enough to do the other sock. So I knit a women's US size 9 sock, and I cast on 64 stitches, and I did 2x2 ribbing. And then this is a mock cable ribbing, and this is a ribbing stitch that is available on my sister Emily Clawson's, which is Salt City Knits, her Candy Floss Socks pattern. And then I just did plain stockinette vanilla stitch, vanilla socks all the way down. I did a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. It's going in and out of focus, sorry about that. And then what I did here that was different is I did, what do they call it? An ergonomical toe? That might not be the right word, but it's not symmetrical. Okay, let's see. If you can see, one side decreases more than the other. Let me get them both together. So this has a right and a left. So what I did is I would decrease only on one side for, I don't know, actually I'll tell you how many rounds, I can tell you. Well, I did 2 rounds plain stockinette first, and then I did, Luna, come here, don't do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds plain, well, 10 rounds where I only decreased on one side. And then after those 10 rounds of only decreasing on one side every other round, then I decreased on both sides every round. And that's how I got that toe. It looks a little funny, and I really was questioning whether or not it was going to be worth it, but I put it on and it fits really well. But you do have to make sure you put it on the right foot, the correct foot. I cast on 64 stitches. Oh, I remember why. No, I don't remember. I was gonna do 60 stitches, but I cast on 64. I can't wear 64 stitch socks. They just are not snug enough. I used to do that for my socks, but I found that, you know, they were getting too baggy, slipping too much, and I would have to wash and block them every use. So now I do 60 stitches for myself, and I might try even going down further. I might. So these will definitely be a gift, but I think they are so fun. So that is my first finished project for my Make 9. And then also Amy Loudon and her sister Jen, who are the owner and dyers of Dandelion and Dogwood Yarns, they are doing a make-along, a year-long make-along. It's 24 and 24, so 24 socks in 2024. And it's where you can have 12 pairs of socks at the end of the year. I've been burned out on socks a bit, but knitting these has kind of sparked my enthusiasm again. So that's my first project done. And I really want to cast on more here, but I have other things that I need to work on. But I do have a baggie here of some that I've collected that are ready to go when I have time to do the next Scrappy sock. There are a lot of projects I have ideas for to use these up, but my plan, oh, sorry to bump the table. My plan is to just use the yarn. I mean, I've talked about this before, where I feel like if I have all these scraps, I need to use those scraps before breaking into new skeins, whether they're mini skeins or full skeins, because I feel like I haven't used up the yarn I've already started using, and so I can't use new things. And I get burned out that way because I'm using the same yarns again and again and again and again. And while I love them, by the end of 15 projects, I don't have the same enthusiasm for it anymore. So a year ago, my knitting group, I mentioned this, we did a swap with scraps, and I ended up just getting rid of all of my fingering weight sock yarn scraps. But I now have a good assortment again. So they're different ones, so that's fun. Okay, I then made another pair of socks. So if you followed me on my Vlogmas videos on Patreon, you'll have seen this cone of yarn that I got in my Advent calendar. I did a swap with my friend Margaret, and I got a cone of sock yarn, and it's really fun because it's a gradient. Hi Luna. Hi Curly, come here. And I kept it out because I did not want to put it away. I wanted to use it. And the nice thing about this is because it's wound onto a cone, it's ready for me to immediately start using on my sock knitting machine. Because normally what I do is I'll have a hank of yarn that I will wind into a cake, and then from the cake I need to wind it onto a cone so I can use it on my sock knitting machine. Well, I didn't have to do any of that. It was all ready to go. So I made a pair of socks. Let me put them both on here. Now this one I made to be a women's size 6.5, and this blocker is too big for that. I think they may be a 7. I need to wait for my daughter to come back home who wears a 7 or a 7.5, see how it fits her. But I have a friend I want to give it to. I'm waiting for my daughter to get home so I can see if it's the right size. But here they are. They're so fun. They are so fun. I knit the cuff by hand because I don't know how to use my ribber attachment on my sock knitting machine yet. I haven't had time to work that out. And I really like a ribbed cuff. The folded hung hem cuff is also really nice, but I just love how this looks. So what I did first is at the very beginning, I wound off 4 grams of yarn at the very beginning so that the gradient would remain the same. And I didn't cut it, I just left it attached. And after I had cranked the whole sock tube, then I picked up the stitches and knit until I ran out of yarn. How many rounds did I get? I think I got 18 rounds. I'm pretty sure I got 18 rounds. There were little holes in the corners from the short row heel, but I just got a strand of yarn and wove it in and closed it up. I have half of the yarn left. So I had to wind off yarn until I finished the gradient, and then it repeated again. And I didn't know if it would show me like where a divider was. So I thought I had got to the end of the gradient and started cranking a sock and discovered, oh, actually there's more, because now there's this short white bit. And that short white bit was the divider between the two gradients. So I had to cut that again and start again. So I've got this wound, and I need to go through and find where I've cut it, and I want to join the ends together so it's in one single piece. And then I could make another pair of socks. These could be the same size or shorties. The yarn felt quite stringy while I was using it, and after I had knit it, it looked kind of gapey because it was stringy. But I thought, well, I know that my favorite yarn that I've been using, the wool from Scotland, what was the name of it? I forgot the name of it. Anyways, it kind of has not the most pleasant feel, but once I block it, then it blooms and looks lovely. And so I thought, I'm going to block this one before I judge the yarn. I blocked it, and it's lovely. It feels like it's going to be a hard wearing sock. It is a thinner yarn, but it feels really nice. I like it. And the yarn is called Watercolor Sock by, I'm going to hold this up here. Oh, that was upside down. Okay. So that was a fun project. This one does not qualify for the 24 and 24 because it's knit by machine. Also, they were both done in January. I don't think that really matters. The idea is to have 12 pair of socks. After that, I cast on another pair of socks on my sock knitting machine. I had minis left over from my, these are now unfinished projects. Those were my only finishes. Doesn't really matter. But after I finished my Advent project, that's what it was. I made the shrug, the Friday shrug, which I wore yesterday, and it was really lovely and cozy. I had how many minis left? 6, 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had 6 left. No, I had a couple more than that, but I had 6 that were colors that I wanted to use together. And I thought, I'm going to experiment with doing striped socks on a sock knitting machine with mini skeins. So I wound each of them onto a different cone. Here's one of the cones. And I figured out the math of how many rounds I needed of each color so that I would get through the color progression in the leg. Then I would, with 5 of the colors. Then with the 6th color, I'd do a heel, and then 5 colors repeated again on the foot. And is that how I did it? Yeah. Anyways, I did that, and it worked out great. here we go. Now, once again, I haven't done the cuff because I have yarn here that I was using for the cuffs and the heels, not the toes. So I'd need to pick up stitches and knit the cuff upwards. So I've got, let's get it to focus. There we go. There's the heel, the foot, and the toe, which is still open, and it's got the waist yarn on it, and it looks funny like that. But I was looking at this, and I knit it right after I knit the other pair of socks. And I'm like, these look huge. I was trying to make my size, a US size 9, women's size 9, and I used my 60 stitch cylinder. So it would be nice and snug, and they're huge. I put it on and they're just baggy and way too big. What in the world? Well, I realized, so when I'm doing socks, one of my viewers here, oh, I wish I could remember who it was. I was mentioning how I didn't like that the heel always ended up a much tighter gauge than the rest of the sock. You have something called a heel spring on a sock knitting machine, and you have to engage the heel spring in order to make the heel, to do short rows. And they mentioned that they keep the heel spring engaged the whole sock, and that keeps the tension even. So I thought that's really smart. But then I thought, you know what, with all of these color changes, I might forget to engage the heel spring. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down in tension on my sock knitting machine for these stripes. Then I will go up in tension for the heel when I use the heel spring, and then I'll go back down in tension here. So I did that, and I realized what I did at the end is actually, instead of going down in tension, I went up. So not only is this tighter gauge than the leg, but this is now much looser than the tension I ever crank it with. Oh, but that looks cute. Those colors look so lovely together. But now I'm like, I don't want to go through and wind little bits back onto a cone. I don't really want to do it directly from the sock. It doesn't work quite as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this here. I've actually left it here for a couple weeks because I did this a little bit ago. I'm going to leave it like this until I have some time, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to unravel and knit. Well, I'll start by knitting a cuff, and then I'm just going to hand knit these as I go and just pull it directly from this sock tube and knit it directly onto the sock that I'm going to knit by hand. So that's a bummer, but holding it here, I do like those. I think that's a really fun combination. Yep, I do. I like it. I've got another sock. I told you I've been excited about socks now. I haven't been for a little while. Okay, I am going to be doing a trunk show, and I will have posted, hopefully, a video right before this one that's a short video introducing, welcoming you, inviting you to the trunk show that I'm doing on February 3rd. One of the things that I'm going to be bringing there, if you've been following me for a while, you may remember that I used to do something called Bonbon mini boxes. They were boxes of 10 gram, or there were 5 10-gram minis, and there was a theme each month. And I stopped doing that because it was during 2020. I could no longer get a hold of the boxes that I used. And I looked and looked for replacements, and in the end just decided, you know what, we'll just let that go. It's okay. Well, the boxes now are back in stock, but instead of doing those, I'm now doing my Enchanted Nostalgia. anyways, so for this trunk show, I decided I'm going to bring back 2 of those Bonbon mini sets that I did before. They were really fun. So the first one is the Winter Wonderland Bonbon mini box. And I've already wound mine into cakes. What is going on here? I don't know what's happening here. It's all unwound. And I am knitting my favorite sock recipe for scraps of yarn. Specifically, I created this recipe for the Bonbon mini boxes. So here we go. Here's the beginning. So I've shared this recipe before where I do my ribbing in a main colorway, whatever the main colorway is. And then I do 10 rounds of the first mini. Then I repeat the main colorway for 4 rounds, 10 rounds, 4 rounds, 10 rounds, 4 rounds, until I've got through all 5 of my colorways. So here they are. I'm on this one. Next I have that, and then let's see if I can, and then that one. And then this is a ball of 20-gram minis that I just wound one after the other because they were minis that I was dyeing for my shop and there was a mistake in them. Honestly, I really love the mistake. But what it was is the color hadn't dissolved properly, and so I get little flecks of, let's see if you, little flecks of pink throughout it. And I think that it looks beautiful like that. So I would replicate that, but I can't, what's the word? Time after time, consistently get it to do that. So maybe you can see on the cuff the little flecks of pink. I don't know if you can see that there. So I'm using that for my main color. So I'm doing a shop sample with these. It'll be a shop sample for this trunk show, but then they'll be mine. I did 60 stitches because that's what I like, and I just think these are so pretty. I held on to this set from 2020 for me all this time with the plan of doing this, and I just never got around to knitting them. So I'm excited about that. And then I will be doing, later on, I've got the second Bonbon mini set that I'm bringing back, which is the French Kiss one. And I will have to knit one of those. I think it's so funny. I'm keeping it in this box. What came in this box? It seems like makeup came in this. I think. But I just liked it so much. I think I cut off the lid because that was battered pretty bad. And I just use this all the time. It's funny, it's got shipping label on the bottom, but I just love this box. It's such a perfect size. So I always have that out and around. That's how you know you're middle-aged, when you can appreciate a good box. My daughter Claire was mocking me because I didn't have any more room in my sewing room for boxes. They were like falling on my head because I was keeping some. And she's like, why do you have these? And I said, because they're really good boxes. Just, Mom, I'll bring you a box home if you need one. I'm like, but it won't be this box. I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not. Okay, let's see. I have another project here, and this one is really fun. And this goes along with some shop news. Let me put these other projects away. Okay, here's another thing that I love. A good tray. You know, if you can find just the right tray, that's one thing that I really like. So here's my tray that I have. And look at these pretty colors that I have in here. They're so pretty. Okay, Here's to my latest obsession, the Colorwork Doodle charts by Pacific Knit Co. Oh my goodness, look at that one. Oh, I love it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I'm trying to unroll the end so you can see the design. Come on, Luna, come here. So I tried doing a new provisional cast on technique where you cast on over a knitter's cord, also known as barber cords. And I tried it like 3 times and it just was not working. I could not get it to work. So I did my regular old crochet chain. You crochet a chain and then you pick up stitches by knitting into the back loop of the crochet chain. So I did that for the provisional cast on. And then I have knit more than halfway. One thing I really like, okay, so this is high contrast. I think that is really striking, really pretty. As a matter of fact, that is my favorite section of this so far. I love this color combination and this chart. But I also really, really like low contrast. I think that that's very pretty. It has its place. It's not for everybody, not for everything. But you know, this is high contrast, low contrast. Here we've got medium contrast. Oh, they're so pretty. I like all of that. What I want to do is I want to do this chart with these colors, and I want to do this chart with, I don't know which colors, but I want to do an entire cowl or project alternating those two. I also think just this repeated again and again would be so striking. So I have started selling, here they are, Pacific Knit Co. Doodle decks and the seasonal ones. I talked about these last time. This is the spring one that I'm using currently, and I used that last time also for the heart hat. And they sold out super fast in my shop, so I reordered and have restocked. But I used a lot of my 20-gram gumball mini skeins, which are fingering weight. And I really like using fingering weight for these charts because then I can fit in more charts, because that's a lot of the fun, is like you start pulling them out and you want to do more of them rather than less. So I liked doing fingering weight for that. But DK weight goes faster, and also a lot of people really like working with DK weight. So I decided to start carrying new product. And so my new product I'm calling Candy Kisses. So I have gumball mini skeins, which are 20-gram minis, and then I have Candy Kisses, which are 50-gram skeins. So what I currently have are 50-gram DK weight skeins. So the colorways that I'm using right now, I have an assortment of, I think 18 colorways, and I've divided, maybe 19. I've divided them into 2 categories. I've divided them into what I'm calling brights and then softs or muted. So the soft muted ones are the ones I'm working with right now, and that's coconut. Oh, this focusing is annoying. Sugar and spice, rosy dawn, sweet chop. Now, look how pretty those are together. Just those right there. Then we've got Shamrock Splash and Verdant Wave, and Coastal Quench, and Honeycomb. And those are super pretty together. But my favorite combination is Coconut and Coastal Quench. Then I also have Marshmallow, which are the undyed, the bare skeins. I've marked these down, I think $2 per skein because they're undyed. But they really are the foundation of all of the projects. Either this or this one. You just find that you want to use them all the time. And so if you're gonna do this, I would recommend getting several of these, or several of these, whichever you want to be kind of your lightest shade or your white kind of, you'll want a lot of it. So there's the soft palette, and then here's the brights. Okay, so for this one I did Jawbreaker. There we go, with the speckles. And let's start pulling them out. Dream House, which is my Barbie pink. Knuff, which is my Barbie blue. Cinnamon Bears. Skyberry Pop. Oh, I wish I could hold them all up at the same time. Skyberry Pop. What other ones do we have? We've got Lavender Lemonade, no, Lavender Lollies. Periwinkle Pop. And oh, I love this one so much. This is a brand new one. Butterfly PT. Have you seen those? Have you seen that tea where it changes color into this kind of bluish purple color? Love it. And I mean, I don't know that I love the tea. I just think it's fun, but I love this colorway. This is one of my favorites. And then also I still have Marshmallow. So if you don't want the speckles, if you want just plain undyed. Oh, let's see if I can hold them. Here's the brights. And then you saw the soft muted ones. So those are really fun to work with. Oh, also I have dyed Malibu Beach. This was day 25 of my Retro Rewind Advent calendar, and I've had a lot of requests for this in full skeins. So here it is, and it is on a silver sparkle base. Let's see if we can get some of the sparkle, a little bit. All right, so last time, oh, I need to go grab something. Okay, last time I shared this hat with you, and this is a hat that I knit using the spring doodle deck. And I mentioned how much I loved this combination. This speckly pinky red and red. Come here, Luna. Come on, I'll play with you. I'll come pet you. And how I wanted to do an entire project with that. So I dyed up this just stunning duo. It's Peppermint Twist and Cinnamon Bears. And I have both of these on 20-gram mini skeins, the gumball minis in fingering weight. But I dyed full DK weight skeins of this so that I could do a project with it because I loved that combination so much. And I thought, I'm gonna do this entire, I'm gonna do a project with just that. Well, then Pacific Knit Co. came out with a test knit. Let me show you. Look, oh my goodness. This is gonna be so fun. Oh, and it's gonna be hard to decide. Do I want to do one chart all the way through? Do I want to do a whole bunch of them? There's swans, there's lips, there's heart sunglasses, there's envelopes like Valentine love letters, there's all sorts of different kinds of hearts, there's a rain cloud where it's raining hearts, there's hugs and kisses, there's a mailbox with a love letter, there's a lot of things in here. So I have to decide which one of these I'm going to do with my set here. And if I'm going to do cowl, or if I'm going to do a hat, or if I'm going to do a sweater, because I was looking at the Strange Brew book by Tin Can Knits, the sweater pattern that they have, and their Colorwork charts. Well, their sections break down into 4 stitches, 8 stitches, 12, and 24 as they're increasing. 4, 8, 12, and 24, if I remember correctly. And so I could technically plug some of these into that sweater. The challenge would be when it's 4 stitches, then I need to pick a chart, like use, let's see, a portion of just the chart, like just this. And then when it's 8 stitches, pick a portion of a chart that's just like this. And when it's 12 stitches, pick a portion of the chart that's, you know, whatever. And then when it's 24, I can use the whole thing. But that's a lot of brain power. So I'm thinking, like in this spring doodle deck, there are flowers on it that will repeat again and again and again. And I could do, you know, a flower. How many stitches? That's 5. So that wouldn't work on this one, on this exact one. But if I go through and pick out something that has a 4-stitch repeat, I'm holding it back here because I'm not giving away the whole pattern, but like this little element I could do. And so I could go through and do something like that with the chart, the test knit chart. Or I could do a cowl, or I could do a hat. I'm just trying to decide what I want to do. But whatever it is, I'm going to cast that on this week and get that done, or at least going. But oh, I love these. Love these. These are currently sold out. I listed them in my shop and they sold out quickly. I am selling them with the bow as a set, not individually. If you want them individually as fingering weight mini skeins, you can get them that way. What was I going to say? Oh, but I'm going to be dyeing more of them this next week, so I'll have them back in stock. I think they're beautiful for Valentine's, but I just like it all the time. But I really love reds and pinks. Pink, it's my favorite. Every pink I love. I was thinking there was one pink I saw I didn't love. Can't tell you what it is now. But I also really love red, but I don't like all reds. But I really, really like this red. I like this red. So I think what I like more cooler toned reds. This one's kind of right down the middle. But I also love hearts, and I love stripes, and I love polka dots. So I've got hearts and stripes, pink and red. I would wear that year round. I would wear that year round. Anything else? Lena, you went and got another toy. Come here, I'll pet you. Come here. Okay, so I wanted to talk about my stack of boxes here. Come here, girl. Come here. Come here. Okay, so my Make 9, I had, so the very first one is this one. The second Make 9 is this one, which I haven't cast on yet, but I have it out and open. I'm working on other projects, but as far as my Make 9 goes, this is what it is. So then I went through all my other projects, my wish list, the yarns I wanted to use, and I had, you know, like 30 projects I wanted to do. So I decided to narrow it down. And I've wrapped up the yarn with the pattern wherever possible. Like if the pattern no, all the patterns are out. One of them, the pattern might be in a book, so I may have made a note of that. Now I'm trying to remember, but this is the brilliance. I feel like I'm pretty brilliant. I know, not just kidding. Of wrapping it up in a box, because then it's out of sight, out of mind. I forget. So I've made a little note on here. So this one, I wrote a note so that if I'm like, I'm in the mood to do some crochet. This one is a crochet project, and I know what that one is, and I'm excited about that one. That one is using stash. Mostly, I'm going to have to order more yarn. And then this one is a DK Colorwork pattern. So if I'm in the mood for doing color work. This one is an Advent project. This one is socks. That's a big box for socks. Why can't I remember what socks these are? I don't know. And then this one is a shop sample, and I have a month that it needs to be done. So actually this is the next one to cast on. And then I have this box. This is my Advent calendar from, no, leave it, leave the toy. The Advent calendar from this last year, and I want to do a project with this one. And then I need to finish my dad's gloves. That's the 9th one. I haven't been able to work on his gloves because I have things with deadlines for my shop. So I just haven't been able to work on it. I really just need to do the cuff on the first one and take it over and have him put it on, because he may not even be able to use it. If he can't use it, I'm not casting on the second one. But if he can, I need to get that fit in somewhere. So I need to get over to his house and try it on him to know if it's going to work or not. So that's my Make 9 plans. I did not make a Make 9 board because it's, I don't know, I could take a picture of wrapped boxes, but I kind of don't want to remember what they all are because then I will get burned out on it before I've even started, as I mentioned last time. So I like the element of surprise. So it's kind of like I get to unwrap a gift and it will be a surprise each time. So I'm excited about that. I have so many things I want to do and not enough time. It's just kind of crazy, but I appreciate you joining me for another episode. Luna, come here. And she's going crazy with her toys, so I think it's time to end, and I'll see you next time. Bye.